Okay, shalom ubracha. This before we start, two jokes or three jokes. Okay, first joke: there was a yid who lived downstairs from a Cossack, a Ukrainian Cossack, and the roof, the ceiling was like this thick. That's it. So whenever the Cossack would come home every night from hard work, and he was a big Cossack, and each like boot weighed like 2 tons. So when he take off his boots, boom, and the whole house of the Yid, poor guy, would shudder, and then another boom for the second boot. So every night was like that. The Yid had to come, when the Cossack came in, the Yid had to go like this, and everything would shake. So one night the Cossack came home, and he took off one boot, boom, and he said, I feel bad for the Jew downstairs, the Jid downstairs. He hears the boom. So I'll take it off, delicately and very lightly. Takes off his boot lightly. After an hour, hears knocks on the doors. The Cossack hears knocking on the door. He opens the door. It's the Jew. He says, "Can you finally take off the second boot? I'm waiting for an hour already. Take off the second boot." Second joke. I hope you get the joke. There was a Taimani, and a burglar came in to rob him. So the Taimani woke up, and he said to the burglar, "What are you looking for?" So I'm looking for money. So let me help you look for all money also. Third joke, I hope it's not racist, but we're talking about other people. In Hebrew, the word for to come is lavo, come, and son. How does a Persian call his son? Kamtan, kamtan, kamtan. I hope I don't get shot for that, okay? I'll go. That's three jokes. And just some powerful chizuk from Rav Nosson. Rav Nosson's letters are filled with unbelievable chizuk for someone who's going through a hard time in life. If you're going through a hard time in life, the address to read is Rav Nosson's letters. Okay? As a bachor, you should know I didn't connect to the letters. I felt he's just bringing me down, pulling me down, Rav Nosson. But after getting married and after going through whatever you go through in life, you see the same letters. It's just total chizuk, total encouragement and this ruach hakodesh. It's like that's true for all Breslin teachings, but Rav Nosson's letters, it's like so obvious. Like you had something happen today, and he's directly today in the letters. It's ruach hakodesh crazy. They say in Breslin, an oral teaching, that Rav Nosson received a teaching from Rabbi Nachman, that anyone who would hear this, they would lose their free will. After hearing this idea, what Rabbi Nachman said, I have teachings that I can reveal, but if I were to reveal them, you would lose your free will. But what is the benefit? Hashem wants you to serve him from your free will, not out of free will, not no free will. Okay? Nonetheless, Rav Nosson heard this teaching from the Rebbe, and he hid it somewhere in his letters. That's what they say, in the letters. That's why it's something very big. They make a big deal in Breslin to also read Rav Nosson's letters. We speak about Likutey Tefillot, Likutey Halachot. There's so much to do, huh? There's so much, always adding on something else. You got to find time. Rav Brenner, he used to say always, we saw Rav Brenner, he's the best of him. He says, someone who watches his time, Misha Shomer Tazman, he has bracha bazman. He has bracha in his time. If you are very careful watching your time in your day, making the maximum out of your 24 hours, Hashem sends bracha in you. You have no bracha. Like we spoke about in lesson 24, Birkat HaSechel. You have bracha in your time. You have more to do. So Rav Nosson in his letters, he says something amazing. He says, it's true that you're far and you still need a lot of salvation, but you have to give thanks to Hashem for already the little bit of salvations that he sends you in your day. Even though you're still very far from the real salvation you need and the real geula, whatever that you're going through, and you need a major breakthrough, still don't belittle and don't treat lightly and don't the little breakthroughs. Value them. Value the little things. And he says, Rav Nosson, that's what you're going to take with you in the next world. In the next world, only the little archavot and the good things and the thanksgiving they give to Hashem. He says, Rav Nosson, this is the secret to being there when the big salvation is supposed to come, that you're still there. Most people, they gave up 20 years ago. So when Hashem finally is ready to send the person to salvation 20 years later, the person left already. He left already. In other words, Hashem made it that the Yeshua is going to come on this date. Okay, in the meantime, you have to hold on. You have to hold on a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. You got to hold on. Now, the person takes off. He's not there. And Hashem opened the door. Where's the guy? He left already. He says, Rav Nosson told Rav Nachman Tulchener, He says you have to, whenever you need a Yeshua, don't leave, stay there. Stay there. When you need a salvation, stay there. I was in Meron. I was talking to go to Meron, and in the bus station in Tzfat, it was a bit of a balagan. It was crazy. So as soon as right before I arrived, all of a sudden they announced, and there were tons of people on the buses, but everyone got in the end, I think. But right before I reached there, I heard them announcing on the microphone, "There's no more buses to Meron. There's nothing to do." Okay. I saw people leaving. I said, "Why are you leaving?" They said there's no more buses. So I kept on going because I know when you need a Yeshua, you stay there, you don't leave. Right? I walked in there. 5 minutes later, they said, "Okay, Botai, there's buses for everybody. Don't worry. Don't leave. Don't you need a salvation? Wait there. Don't say, oh, okay, so there's nothing here, so I might as well go." That's like an American Goyish mentality. Okay, there's nothing here today, so I'm just get there. No. A Jew, they say no, niet, no. They put an X. What do? You wait there. You don't go anywhere. You don't say, what are you going to do now and wander off. You wait there for the salvation. It's a big musa in life. So Rav Nosson writes that if you are giving thanks to the tiny things, that allows you to keep on staying there, staying in the place, okay? Rav Nosson goes into this, by the way, on Avram Avinu. Yoshev petach ha'ohel echom hayom. After the bris milah of Avram Avinu, Parshat Vayera, it says Avram Avinu Yoshev was sitting at the entrance of the tent, echom hayom, in the heat of the day. Rashi says what he says, that Hashem didn't want to bother Avram Avinu for guests. She made it extremely hot. But in the end, Hashem saw that Avram Avinu was suffering, so he sent him the angels and to dress up as orchim, as guests, right? So Rav Nosson explains it a bit deeper based on the Zohar. Kechom hayom is when a person is being heated up. The tivus are heating him up. He's going crazy. The person's going nuts with the tivus. They're driving him nuts. The lusts are killing him. Still, Avram Avinu is like the Yehudi, the Jewish, the Pintel Yid is called Avram Avinu. Hu Yoshev petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. I don't budge. I'm waiting them to, the door is closed. The ohel, petach ha'ohel. I'm standing at the entrance of the tent. They're not letting me in. Okay, this is the analogy. Hu Yoshev petach ha'ohel. That's the Jew. He's sitting. Yoshev is milashon akava. Rashi says many places in the Torah. When we say someone's Yoshev, it means he's waiting. Hamtana and akava, to wait and be patient there, not to move. So Yoshev, Avram Avinu, representing the Pintel Yid, every Jew, is waiting for them to open the tent. I'm not budging from here. I know my salvation is here. I'm here. I'm not moving. Do what you want with me. I'm not budging. Kechom hayom, the tivus are burning him. I'm not moving. I'm here. The Nosson says that you have to wait. How can you wait though? The sun is burning you and you're being melted and you feel worse than ever before and you feel like such a nobody. It's just always telling you, just drop it already. Drop it. No. How do you do that? Rav Nosson says by finding the good and giving thanks for the tiny things. Because if you don't find thanks for the tiny things, then mamish have nothing to stand there for. You feel empty and your subconscious is empty and negative. And that's why people leave. Whereas if you train yourself to give thanks, thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem. There's a long line, thank you Hashem. Everything you're trying to find something good, and you're working on it and you adapt yourself to it, you have what to wait for. But if you have nothing good, you're just standing there. The guy after like a day, after 2 days, he leaves the tent. Okay. This is what Nosson says is very powerful, and it's connected to this Torah because Rav Nosson says this chidush on this lesson in Likutey Moharan, lesson 24. Is it? We have a lot to do. Before we go into this, I have to just give you, and the same to also. We have to give just a general picture of this lesson. What are you talking about this lesson? And then a general picture of the paragraph that we're in. Remember, we're in Siv Zion, if you remember, right? Siv Vav, sorry. Okay? The pshat of Siv Vav, and then the next level, what's hiding. When Rabbeinu says something, there's what's between the lines, what's underneath, what he's also saying, by the way, that he doesn't say Mefrosh. And that's really where the main gems are. The main gems in the Likutey Moharan are what's not Mefrosh, what's not explicit. What doesn't say explicitly, what's on the side, the teachings and the limudim that come out of what he doesn't say directly, but he hints to, that's where the gems are really, normally in the middle. Okay. The idea of this lesson is that when a Jew does mitzvot with joy, Okay? Doing mitzvot is one thing. Doing mitzvot b'simcha, with joy, is what elevates all the holiness trapped in the klipot. You want to elevate. Why would you want to do that, first of all? Because you're suffering. You're sad. You're not happy in life. You don't see any purpose in life. You feel stuck. That's a sign that you are trapped in the klipot. What to do? Whatever you're doing, serving Hashem, it's putting your tefillin on, putting tzitzit, learning, do it b'simcha. Okay? So he adds this feature, Rabbeinu, doing mitzvot b'simcha. Even though automatically every Jew should do every mitzvah b'simcha, but we see many people that are not happy when doing mitzvot, or they're very minimum, and they could do more in being happy when doing a mitzvah, but they're not because they don't know the value of it. Here in this lesson, Rabbeinu is based on doing mitzvot b'simcha. This is the key for everything else in life. This is the key for getting out of what you're stuck on. Ki b'simcha, etzeu. With simcha, simcha meaning in mitzvot, because really, Radal Sheikh writes, a Jew can't have any happiness in this world exclusively, unless it's connected to a mitzvah. So for example, you buy a good cake for Shabbos, because it's for Shabbos, I can be happy about it. I make a siyum, and I make it nice. So I go to Kibbutz Tzadikim, and I take a 5-star hotel, but I'm doing it so I can be comfortable to daven Kibbutz Tzadikim. So I'm taking something physical of this world, but its purpose is for a mitzvah. So that's simcha. True simcha in physicality, gashmiut, but it's connected to ruchniut because I'm doing a mitzvah. Okay. So when a Jew does mitzvah b'simcha, he gets everything moving in life. Ki b'simcha tetzeu. Ki b'simcha, we said that's where I left off. When you are b'simcha, which means doing mitzvah b'simcha, tetzeu, you get out. You get out of what? Anything. Anytime you're stuck in life, if you think about what you're stuck in, it just sucks you in more. It's a rule in life. When you start thinking about the challenges and the problems and this and that, you get more worried and more negative and more fretting. So what to do? What's the Eitzah? Is you got to leave it temporarily. You got to work on simcha. What the simcha does puts you on the right frame of mind. In our context, it gets you out of the klipot. And when you get out of the klipot, automatically Hashem's kindness shines. Hashem's kindness is always shining. Chesed kel kol hayom. Hashem's chesed is all day long, okay? I'm not getting it because I'm blocked. So if I move the blockage, by getting out of the klipot, how do I do that? By being b'simcha, working on being b'simcha, okay? So now, the light that was always there, but there was a blocking interference between me and it, now it can shine. Now I see clarity. Now all of a sudden a phone call comes, come, let's do this, come, I'll help you get out of your debts and this and that. Oh, there's a shidduch waiting for you. Where were you 2 days ago? No, you were down. You were b'atzvut. You weren't ready yet. So to get out of the atzvut b'simcha, the person also has difficulties. He's trying to lose weight, trying to get off diabetes. I don't know, whatever. And he's trying this and this and that. And he's just so frustrated. And the more he tries, the more it sucks him in. He gets stuck. It's not working. So what to do? Stop everything. What? You gonna stop this? Yes, I stop. You gonna stop this treatment? Yes, stop everything. You guys are making me sad. I've been getting worse. You're not helping me. Stop. What to do now? Work on being b'simcha. I'm doing the mitzvah b'simcha. You build a positive attitude. So now Hashem Shefa comes. This is the whole key to this lesson. The goal is the end of the lesson, which we didn't even touch yet. This lesson has 2 parts and the middle part. We're now in the middle part, by the way. Sivav is the connecting from the beginning, Simcha the mitzvot, to the goal, which is tapping into the infinite light. Or Ein Sof, that's the goal. The goal of creation, the goal of everything, is to see clarity in Or Ein Sof while in this world. The key for that is doing the mitzvot b'simcha. So now we're in the transition, where that's what we're holding, the emunah, the sechel, okay? So, step by step, by doing mitzvot b'simcha, you release from the klipot, and now that you do mitzvot, the mitzvot now have momentum and they can move. They can now awaken all of creation back to Hashem. You can ask the obvious question, how come we don't see that? I'm doing tons of mitzvot for already 20, 30, 40 years. I don't see the change in life. How come I don't see the world coming back to Hashem? How come? The truth is, it's happening. Whenever a Jew does a mitzvah, what is the word mitzvah? Mitzvah means connect, tzvat, tzavet. You're connecting this world to Hashem. The problem is, there are people doing bad, or in more detail, people who are sad, and because of their sadness, atzvut, they arouse dinim. So anytime a step forward was accomplished, a step pushed back. But you are going forward. When you're doing a mitzvah, any Jew in the world does a mitzvah, It's bringing more light into the world. So now when the evil people do bad, it pushes it backwards, okay? So you would think where it's not fair, because there's more, if you would think more evil, more people are not doing mitzvot in the world than there are people who are doing mitzvot. But still one mitzvah is like has the capacity to face 50 dark people. You can say 50 people doing darkness, or 100 or 150. One mitzvah, one little bit of light pushes off a lot of the darkness. So one Jew, it takes only one Jew to do a mitzvah, tefillin, tzitzit, whatever, pushes off not one goy or one Jew who is a Rasha doing bad, but it pushes off from 150 to 200. But still, it's a challenge. So if you do see advancement in life, good happening in life, life is better, there's more chesed, there's more bracha, there's more Shaiben Moshe Sudas, whatever. There's more good happening. Meron now is accessible, there's more food. I'm just saying there's a forward movement. Like you compare how we're living today and 100 years ago, it was much more difficult, much more hard to be a Yid in America in the 1920s, 1930s. It was almost impossible. Now, Baruch Hashem, you can walk open with your payas and your shtreimel and your kippah, whatever, in most places where there's Yidden. Okay? If there's good happening, you can blame the mitzvot of Am Yisrael. Okay? Always. Bad is trying to cover up. That's why we have to be in a constant stage of doing mitzvot. Always mitzvot. We have a lot of Torah and mitzvot. In order to combat all the darkness, there's always another mitzvah, another tzedakah, another this, another hitbodedut, another thought of Hashem, another Torah study, another mikveh, another Yom Kippur. Okay, it's adding up. Fine. So the chidush I wanted to add this week, I'm saying this, is that Rabbi Nachman says when any Jew does a mitzvah, even not b'simcha, it does this. He says, if you look in the Lashon, his Lashon in Likutey Moharan, this is lesson 24, his Lashon in Seif paragraph, where is it? Paragraph Gimel. Okay, Kushadam will say, Eize mitzvah. Until in Seif Bet, he was saying mitzvah b'simcha, mitzvah b'simcha, mitzvah b'simcha. All of a sudden, Kushadam will say, Eize mitzvah. Doesn't matter what mitzvah, and doesn't matter if you're doing it b'simcha. Mitzvah lelech u'le'orech kol ha'olamot la'avodat Hashem yitbarach. Okay? And we did a lesson on the Likutey Tfilot. In the Tfilah, on this paragraph, he lists 40 categories that are woken up. Domem, Someach, Chai, Medaber, Olam Atzilut, Bria, Yetzia, Asiya, Mishirshu Katan Shebayam Ad Karnei Re'emim, Beit Zezeh, Melachim, Bechol Le'omim, Zekenim, Unarim, Banim, Ubanot. He goes into and Chashmalim, Galgalim, Zikim, Chashmalim, Chayot, Ofani HaKodesh. Velosim lists 40 categories in detail what's happening. And that's for any mitzvah. It says any mitzvah, okay? So what happened to doing a mitzvah b'simcha? Where do you see now doing a mitzvah b'simcha? We see it now in this paragraph that we're holding now. So we'll continue and I'll explain. When a Jew does a mitzvah, any mitzvah, even without being b'simcha, when a mitzvah is done, it gets the world in momentum, okay? When the world is in momentum, it activates what's called bracha. Meaning what? When we say that doing a mitzvah gets the world to wake up, what it actually means is now there's more access to bracha. When you get the whole world waking up to Hashem, Hashem's wanting to give to the world is more open. There's more bracha. Okay? This happens when any mitzvahs do it. What did we see? In paragraph Hey, it says that the main thing is though, that when bracha comes down, to seek what's called birkat hasecher. If you are a Baal Nefesh, you won't just take out the bracha that's coming down. Oh, give me the big house and Lamborghini and all this. Give me all the bracha. That's bracha. He said, if you're Baal Nefesh, you will aim for what's called birkat hasecher. The main bracha is to know of Hashem. The bracha of knowing Hashem. Knowing Hashem, that's the biggest bracha. Okay? So you see here also too. You see this bracha. But if you are a Baal Nefesh, get the cream of the crop bracha, which is birkat hasecher. This corresponds to someone who does a mitzvah stam, and someone who does a mitzvah b'simcha. Someone who does a mitzvah stam, so he's deserving, and it's probably going to come due to his mitzvot, bracha. If any bracha comes down to a person in his life, it's because of his mitzvot. Even if he did them with no simcha, nothing. The thing is now, I may be the idiot and just ask for the mana, or am I going to go bichlal matay mana? Am I going to ask for the real bracha? Which is the real bracha? Da'at kanita machasata, da'at chasata makanita. The main bracha is knowing Hashem. That's the main bracha. So I'm smart. I'll aim high, which is intellect. Who does that? Rabbeinu's wording is someone who's a Baal Nefesh. You can see it. Look at the Lashon in Sif Hey. Right? Ikar bracha shenishpaim ma'adayim. It's a review. Hem sechel. Shebaim lemata. Nasim lechol echad echad kli ritzono. You shape it. You decide how it comes down. Kamo shekatuv. Poteach et yadech. Hashem opens up his hands. Umasbi'al lecholcha. Hashem sends down the soba, the satiation. Ratzon, according to his ratzon. When he's tied to the pasuk is amazing. According to your ratzon. So because of that, Mishu Baal Nefesh. Here's a second higher category. If you're a Baal Nefesh, don't be satisfied for regular bracha. Aim for the spitz of the bracha, which is Birkat HaSechem. Shamshich Birkat HaSechem. Bichinat, it is the proofs already brings, fine. You see here two categories. There's bracha stam, and there's the Birkat HaSechem. And at the beginning of the Torah, there's doing mitzvot stam, any mitzvah. Eze mitzvah. What did it say there? Seif Gimel. Eze mitzvah. Yeshadam will say Eze mitzvah. He didn't even say besimcha, so you get brachot, no problem. But if you do mitzvot besimcha, so that you are now fit to be a Baal Nefesh. Baal Nefesh, we said earlier, is someone who's always worried about the nefesh. You know, have people, they can't go on a vacation. They can't. They can't now take off time and go to Disneyland and go have fun and go to to enjoy themselves in this world. Why? Because they're always concerned about Har HaZeitim. They're always concerned about the Tachlis. They're always concerned about serving Hashem. They can't take a break. When we take a break from serving Hashem, sometimes medically it's needed. You know, the famous picture of Moshe Feinstein in the Catskills in the summer. Moshe Feinstein with the tzitzis and he's sitting with all the bushes and he's learning Gemara. Okay? Sometimes it's needed, but for balance. You know, some people, they make a big deal of going on a vacation. They make a lot of investment and time and the cruise and everything. And the guy who's Baal Nefesh, he can't handle that. Say, what are you doing, man? Ruining my life. I want to go to shul every morning. For me, a vacation is to go to shul every morning, to daven more, to learn more, kivrei tzadikim, eat bodedu, do whatever you want. But that's my Gan Eden. My Gan Eden, my vacation is where I can connect more to Hashem. Okay? A Baal Nefesh is someone who's always has in the back of his head what's going to be in the end, the tachlis. He's always looking at the goal of life. The goal of life is Hashem. I can now, a person, you say, okay, let's go out to eat tonight, but for no reason. If it's a shalom bayit, I have a reason. If it's I want to mechabed guests who came, I have a reason. If it's Rosh Chodesh, I have a reason. But now just Bali, I'm in the mood. I just want to go to a nice expensive restaurant, just for no reason at all. There's no mitzvah connected to it. It's empty. A Baal Nefesh won't do that. A Baal Nefesh will do something which is now, spoiling himself, eating a nice cake, whatever. He'll do that if it's going to lead to something that's a mitzvah, but direct. I have a special guest here, and I want to respect him and show him love and everything, which is so important. I want to shalom. My wife wants to go. She wants to go with me. I'm going. It's Rosh Chodesh? No question. We'll go barbecue, a nice expensive, $500 meal in Lakewood. There's some restaurant now that has like $500 meals. I don't know if you heard about that. That's crazy. I don't know. $500, the King's, it's called the King's meal. Someone posted it's not the King's meal. Okay, $500. Who would do that? If it's a Rosh Chodesh and it's a guest who can afford it, or you can afford it and you want to honor, or you want on your wife or her birthday, whatever, I don't know. So it's associated with a Baal Nefesh, stays away from anything stam. You have people who just stam. But in Hebrew, they use the term bilui. You know what bilui means? Vacation. Bilui. But in Lashon HaKodesh, what's bilui mean? To waste something, levalot. What do you call all the rags? Bluim. What's the word for rags? The clothing you can't use anymore. Bluim, balui. In Hebrew, in the modern Israeli Hebrew, bilui means like to waste, to go on vacation. And but so funny, the same word for bilui is to waste. It's a waste of time. Bilui, levalot. Levalot, bilui, levalot, and zeh. It's funny, the connection on the grammar, fine. So, Baal Nefesh is someone who also, when the bracha comes down, what is he looking for? Hey, I want the real bracha. If you give me bracha already, I'm going all the way. I'm a Baal Nefesh. I want Birkat HaSechel. King Solomon, remember, Hashem said to King Solomon, Shlomo Melech, what do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. Which is this? Shlomo Melech said, I want Chokhmah. I want the bracha of Chokhmah. And when he had bracha of Chokhmah, I automatically had everything else. Da'at kanita, bracha sarta. Okay? So you see, the two stages that Rabbeinu mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, someone who does a mitzvah stam, and someone who does a mitzvah b'simcha, it's afterwards paralleled. And when the bracha finally comes down, what are you going to look for? If you just want stam bracha, okay. You want the Ferrari, the nice house and everything. Because you did mitzvot, you deserve bracha, no problem. You want birkat sechel? That's a bal nefesh. Who's a bal nefesh? Someone who does mitzvot b'simcha. That's the idea. This is the whole thing here. Someone who is trained or training himself and is looking towards this direction of doing mitzvot b'simcha, even if he's not succeeding in doing it, but he knows that this is the direction and he wants to do it and he believes in it, so he earns the title of being a bal nefesh. That when the bracha comes down, because he succeeded in trying to be b'simcha doing mitzvot, he knew that this is the thing to do mitzvot b'simcha, and he tried his best to be happy, even though it didn't work all the time, but he's working towards it. He knows that this is a goal, as opposed to someone who's not even interested in doing mitzvah b'simcha. His whole life is Tisha B'Av. And people all week, all year round, Tisha B'Av. They put on their tefillin Tisha B'Av mode. They're davening Tisha B'Av mode. Their Shabbos Friday night Tisha B'Av. Everything's Tisha B'Av mode, and they're happy like that. They want to stay like that. Okay, these people, they're not looking for Simchat HaMitzvah. They chose a life of being, if it comes my way to be happy, fine. But if it's not there, I'm not going to work for it. I'm not interested. Someone now who knows about Simchat HaMitzvah, which is what Rabbeinu opens up the door. Rabbeinu shows us what the Torah does. Torah kills all the klipot and elevates the sparks on top. Simcha doing the mitzvah does the exact same thing. That's Rabbeinu's chidush. Doing mitzvah b'simcha is what the Torah does. Okay? That's why he says, Rav Nosson in the Likutey Moharan on this lesson, saying Pitum HaKtorah b'kavana is misugal to helping you being b'simcha. That's why we said this many times. It's so important not to skip Torah. When you come late for davening, don't skip Torah. It's your key for having simcha in the davening visit Hashem. Torah, don't run into Baruch Shamar or Hodu like most people do. Oidi, let's go. Before Hodu, Torah. And if you do Torah already, you have to do Korban Tamid because they work together. So there, and then Atahu Hashem, Bayom Hashem, Kafir Hasamim, the Torah there. That's the key. So when now the bracha comes down and you ask for Bikat HaSechel, so now he says that what we're saying now in this paragraph, but don't forget that the main thing is not the sechel. The main thing is the emunah behind the sechel. So that's where we're holding. Let's recap and get to it. We have a lot to talk about today. Let's see if we make it, okay? Are we doing with time? We have time? We have energy? Or we have a lot to go into? Okay, get ready. So now, this is the whole lesson up to now. See, Vav. That was a summary. And we just added new points of the parallel. Baal sechel, Baal nefesh, and someone who's not a Baal nefesh, and someone who does a mitzvah stam, any mitzvah, without simcha, and someone who does a mitzvah b'simcha. Okay? So now, it's paragraph 6. And this is a review. We started this last, also we went into this last class. I'm going over it again, okay? But you should know, you have to also draw emunah into the bracha of the sechel. You've now been zochet to have the abundance of sechel coming to you, but it's not enough. You have to make sure you put emunah inside of it. Why? Because the emunah, we're going to see, protects. We're going to this. This is Amalek, chas v'shalom. The antithesis of Amalek is sechel without emunah. Amalek, he tries to ruin the emunah kedosha and put false emunah in your sechel. We're going to this. And Rabbeinu is making this point because the rule, sechel alone, even holy sechel, shas, poskin, kabbalah, kitve ari, zohar, hasagot, but there's no emunah in it. Danger. Okay, you can have someone who's revealing unbelievable chidushim in the Torah, but there's no emunah in it. It's just intellectual. Danger zone. Because as is known, Rabbeinu himself goes to this in several places in the Likutey Moharan, in Tinyana, and the famous lesson called Ayeh, lesson 12, part 2, that many people, many big rabbis, chachamim, because they went after their sechel, they made major mistakes. And Rav Nosson brings the example in Likutey Moharan of the author of Asara Mamarot. I'm trying to remember the author of the Ramami Pano. Ramami Pano, he gave a heter to shave in Chutz La'aretz. Okay? And the German Jews took the heter, and then the Reformed German Jews who knew about the Ramami Pano, they used this as an excuse to start to shave, and eventually shave even with a razor. When the Ramami Pano said what he said he was referring to with an herb. They used to have a type of a cream made from an herb that would burn the roots, so afterwards would you just rub it with a paper or something and it would come off. That's how there was like a way of shaving with an herb. It burnt though. It wasn't comfortable. Or scissors. Scissors is okay because it doesn't touch the blade, doesn't touch the skin. The problem according to halacha is ta'ar. When you have a blade touching the skin, and from the root, cutting the blade, touching directly the root, that's the problem. So they would rub this cream, whatever, and it would come off, or just with scissors, cut almost at the end, but not totally, and then they would put this cream to do the finishing off of the roots. Okay, that's what he had in mind, the Rama Mipano. But they took it as an okay to start shaving even with the blade. So Rabbeinu brought this as an example. Rav Nosson elaborated on it. Rabbeinu mentioned it, Rabbi Likutey Moharan, that how someone can make a statement and he doesn't know the follow-up. That's what it says in Pirkei Avot. Chachamim, you remember Pirkei Avot? Chachamim, hizaharu b'divrechem. Chachamim, scholars, be careful what you say. Perhaps you say something which is a bit off, and then it's poisonous waters, and students will come and drink this water, which is poisonous, and die from it. And atam mitchayev, the Chacham is guilty for that. In other words, when someone says something, if it leads to transgression of the Torah eventually, so what did he gain? What did the Chacham gain? That was the example Rabbeinu said of Rama Mipano. Why did he make that statement? Because it was his own conclusion. He said that the beard is such a holy concept that Chutz La'aretz can't be sovel the concept of the beard. You hear that? That's what the Rama Mipano mentioned in his book. And it was developed by the Jews in Germany, that if that's the case, we would have heter to start shaving. It was a time where no Jews shaved at all. We were going about like 500, 600 years ago, 300 years ago, 1,000 years ago, even the Goyim didn't shave. You look at old pictures of the Greek philosophers and everything, they always had beards. Everyone had beards. Even the Goyim had beards. Maybe Rabbeinu said it was 1,000 years ago from his time. So now it's like 1,250 years ago. The Goyim started to shave. But until then, they all had beards. Everyone, okay? It was the Goyish thing. The Yidden, for sure, back then, all had beards. It was only since the 1950s, the time of Mendelssohn, the Reform movement started, that even the Frum Jews started to begin to shave, but in a kosher format. But then the secular ones took it as a heter that no one knows what's happening in my bedroom, in my bathroom, and they shave with a blade. And when they see them on the street, I put on the cream. They lied. Rav Nosson writes that they're also lying. All this because of the statement of the Rama Mipano, and that's the idea that someone goes after just sechel, and by going after sechel without emunah, he is open to make errors. That's the point here. Even a chacham, as Torah scholar, if it's just pure sechel, and there's no emunah coupled with it, there's room for danger and interpretation, and eventually having a change in the Torah. Even if he didn't mean for it to happen, because there's no emunah in his learning, scary thing. We went into last class, remember, we went a lot into the emunah. Okay, the cup, remember? We went into this, right? Okay. So now, this is where we want to focus on. We left off in the middle of Moshe Rabbeinu's hands, okay? There's 3 proofs here. We're going to go into them. What each one comes to teach us. We're going to focus on the last one, and the middle one to finish off, okay? So, v'zeh bechinat, ish emunot rav brachot, okay? Ve'atz la'ashir lo yinaken. That's the whole pasuk. That's the whole pasuk here. Ish emunot rav brachot. Where's the whole pasuk? Ish emunot. It's the pasuk in Mishlei. It's 28. Chapter 28, verse 20. Ish emunot rav brachot ve'atz la'ashir lo yinaken. Okay? So what does it mean? A man of emunah has plenty of brachot. And someone who's quick to gain wealth, he won't be clean. He won't come out of this clean. So we interpret it based on how the Midrash explains this pasuk with Yaakov and Esav. That's enough kamina for us. But first of all, you have to decide, what is Rabbeinu doing here? Why is Rabbi Nachman bringing 3 psukim? Rabbeinu wants to, on the pshat, this is the pshat level. Rabbeinu made a statement now that you have to have emunah and the sech. So what Rabbeinu is going to do now, on the pshat level, he's going to connect emunah to all 3 factors, or a few factors. Number 1, he wants to connect emunah directly to the bracha. Okay? Because bracha are in the hands. We saw that earlier in paragraph 4. We saw that the bracha, remember the hands of Aaron, okay? The hands, it says here, brachas in the hands. Also the second pasuk, midei avir Yaakov, from the hands of Avir Yaakov, the strength of Yaakov, or Hashem, who's the Avir Yaakov. Misham ben Israel, that's the brachot. The ro'eh ben Israel, the idea, the stone of Israel, to feed off, ro'eh, okay? So those psuki, that shows that bracha is located in the hands. So now emunah and the bracha. So this first pasuk, ish emunot, rav brachot. So here Rabbeinu connects emunah with bracha. And then second pasuk, bechinat, Vayadav emuna. Rabbeinu connects directly hands to emuna. Okay, that's yadav emuna. The third one is a bit tricky. Kama b'yadecha. It'll be. And we're going to this today a lot. Kama b'yadecha. It'll be established in your hands. What? Mamlechet Yisrael. What's Mamlechet Yisrael? Malchut in the Kabbalah is emuna. This is for the Kabbalah purpose. Coming up, he's going to say Malchut is connected to emuna. So he brought a pasuk here connecting hands to Malchut, which is also emuna. Now let's go back into detail. Ish emunot rav brachot. How does Rabbeinu explain the verse? Someone who's a man of faith, solid, rav brachot. Rabbeinu explains it the opposite. Rabbeinu says, when the bracha is coming down, rav brachot, the seifa is first before the Reisha. When there's rav brachot, so I still am I want sechel with emunah. Ish emunah, I'm still emunah. Bracha is coming down. I want sechel, but the sechel comes with I'm firm in my emunah. So when I have the birkat sechel, it's going to be filled with emunah also. So in other words, rav brachot, blessings are coming down because I did mitzvot. But because I did mitzvot b'simcha, I'm a baal nefesh. I'm someone who's concerned about my purpose in life, the soul, the neshama. So I'm concerned of birkat sechel. But we know birkat sechel, the blessing is not enough alone. You need emunah. So ish emunot, I'm firm in my emunah. Rav brachot. Okay. So now I'll go open up again how the Midrash interprets this. Ish emunot, Rav brachot. This is Yaakov. The second part of the verse. Ve'atz leha'ashir lo yinakeh. Someone who's quick. Atz. Atz is like rats in a way. Someone who's quick to make money. Lo yinakeh. He doesn't get out clean. This is Esav. When you see that at Esav, the example given about Esav is that when Yaakov wanted to buy the portion of Merat Machpelah from Esav, so he put all the money. Remember what he said in the pasuk? I made a pile of all the gold and money that I received from the house of Lavan when I was working there. So he told Esav, take all this money for your portion in the Mara, right? And your portion in the land. I forgot about that. Because Esav took off. Esav said, I don't want Eretz Yisrael, all the brachot. So the brachot and everything, brachot, he bribed them. He gave him a lot of money in the beginning. You remember? In Parshat Vayishlach, Yaakov Malachim, he sent a big gift to Esav. And Esav didn't want to take it, but he said, take it. I worked hard. So he took it. So he wanted it. It was a lot of money. Yaakov had to give tons of money. Besides the diamonds in the hand, all the camels, the donkeys, the cows, the sheep, all the gift that he gave. So Esav is someone who's after a lot of money. Esav's qualities are represented afterwards in Amalek, and Amalek's qualities are from Esav. So Esav and Amalek, they're together, okay? So Esav's attitude is atz leha'ashir lo yinakeh. He was quick to gain money. He's not clean. Going back to Esav, where is he not clean by Esav? That when finally Yaakov Avinu came to be buried, they brought the body of Yaakov from Egypt to Hebron. Came Esav, you remember the story? He's saying, what is this? I have my Yerusha. So Hushim ben Dan smashed him on the head because he wanted to bring the star that he sold, his part. It was in Egypt though. He sent someone from Naphtali to go, I think Naphtali himself, or someone from Naphtali, yeah. Naphtali himself went back. Hushim ben Dan said, what are you waiting? He was blind. What are you waiting for? Said, this guy here is complaining. He said, who is he? And he smashed his head. And the eyes popped out and they rolled into Mata Machpelah. So Lo Yinukeh means he didn't come clean. He didn't gain what he thought he would gain, the money, plus being buried in Mata Machpelah. He was such a crook, such an evil person, okay? So now, in our context, Ish Emunot, Rav Brachot, when plenty of brachot come down, what's the normal attitude of a person? For example, a person now is working in a store that's making a lot of money. So the person now who's making tons of money, do you think he's always thinking about Hashem? Normally, a normal person who's having a good job, a good parnasa, a good business, and things are selling, he forgets Hashem. The guy, you ever see the guys in the stock market? They're glued to the screen. They don't go to the bathroom for like 8 hours straight. They're glued to the screens on the stocks and everything. Okay, let's sell. Buy, sell, buy, sell. They're glued. And because tons of money are involved, tons of profit, okay? So there's Rav Brachot. Normal person, unfortunately, takes on Amalek Esav attitude, which is Atz La'ashir. When money's coming down, you forget about Hashem. Okay, it's like you guys selling. Guy takes he opens a hot dog corner in in the Yankee Stadium. He has a kosher hot dog stand. Okay, And there's tons of Yidden coming, they want to eat kosher, he's the only one selling kosher food. So he's busy. He's like going crazy, and he has all the workers. So how do you think he's thinking? Normally, is he thinking about Hashem? Normally, he gets lost in just making the money, make as much money as possible, and the more the merrier. That's Atzla Hashir Lo Yinakeh. So what's my attitude? My attitude is Rav Brachot come down. It's coming down, great. But I want to use it for what? My goal is the Birkat HaSechem. How can a person maintain that? If it's Ish Emunot, the person who's solid is Emunah in Hashem, when there's Rav Brachot. You got it? Rav Brachot, I need Ish Emunot. And so I shouldn't be like Esav mentality, that money's coming down. I believe in Hashem is there, yeah, but we believe in the money. I believe now, the more I work hard, the more I make money, and I got to do that. I got to lose. What are you going to lose? You have money to eat for Shabbos? Yeah. So what are you going nuts for? You can't now just take it easy? No, but money's coming down. That's last year. That's emunah in the money. That's kochi otzim yadi. Ish emunot is when Rav Brachot, so much bracha is coming down, but he knows to put a stopper. Well, because now my business is so successful, I'm going to start working 24 hours a day. I'm going to work now 12 hours a day. Wait, what? This time, I close the store. Yeah, but the client's waiting outside. That's too bad. I have a life. I have to learn Gemara. I have to daven mincha. I have to do hitbodedut. I have to say tikkun haklali. I'm so immersed in my job. Oh, I'm so busy. I couldn't call you. I'm so busy. I don't have time for the chavruta. I'm so busy. What are you so busy? You choose to be like that you're so busy you don't have time to serve Hashem. It's your fault. We brought the story. Remember the story? We told Rav Chaikel's cousin, extremely poor. We'll go quickly the story. Rav Chaikel was once a student of Rabbeinu. He was called Rav Chaikel. He was a chazan also. He was together once traveling with Rabbeinu in the wagon. And they passed by a village where Rav Chaikel had a very poor cousin, and he wanted very much that Rabbeinu should give him a bracha. Rabbeinu was like those, like in meditation, whatever. So Chaikel took the initiative to tell the driver on his own initiative, make a left into this village. They get to the village, they come, and Rabbeinu opens his eyes, acting as if he doesn't know what's happening. He knows what's happening, but he's acting as if nothing's happening. He doesn't know what's happening. And they go off the carriage. Rabbeinu goes off also. Cousin, he tells this to my cousin over here, knock on the door. They open the door, they see a man with no shoes. It's the winter. No shoes, the kids, no shoes. And he was so happy to see Rabbi Nachman at his door, almost fainted. And his cousin, and he said, "Could we come in?" Of course, I have nothing to offer. What can I offer? So Rav Chaikel told his cousin, maybe you can make collateral, sell your wife's Shabbos candles, and with the money quickly buy some cakes from the bakery next door. He said, okay, so wait here. He went, he took his wife's Shabbos candles, he did a mashkon, what is it called? The pawn shop. They pawned it until he gets the money, he'll buy it back. And he bought some cakes and stuff for Rabbeinu. Rabbeinu sat down and Rav Chaikel. And Rav Chaikel told Rabbeinu, notice they don't have shoes, the kids. So Rabbeinu was like a makpid. He said, I don't have a bracha to give to him. If you want, you give him a bracha. He felt like he was, he intruded on Rabbeinu's honor. So he was worried about that. Rabbeinu said, no. If you want to give him a bracha, give him a bracha. I don't have a bracha to give to your cousin. He was shocked, but he felt bad. He wanted Rahman. So he asked everyone to move out of the middle of the room, and he asked them to bring a bucket of water, and he poured the bucket of water on the floor in the house. With his hand, he pushed abundance to the north, abundance to the south, abundance to the east, abundance to the west. And there's a tradition of Rabbeinu, he lifted up the edge of his bekeshe. He said, Rabbeinu, Chaikel, watch it. I don't want any drop of water from your bracha. He picked up his bekeshe, so it shouldn't get wet from the water on the floor, because there's a lot of water. There's a bucket of water. So Rabbeinu was there, sitting or standing, and the long Rebish Bekish, the pelts reaches to the floor. So Rabbeinu looked up and said, I don't want any of your water, your bracha. What of your bracha? They left, and right after they left, like the next day, some Ukrainian Goyish tradesmen who like trade, and they brought like furs and stuff. They knocked on his door like an Ivan, Gunta. They knock on the door, Jid, let us in. We want food and drink. We'll pay you. I said, I have nothing to give you. He said, here's money. Go buy for us some cake, some food, some drink, whatever. And take care of us. We'll pay you. So they came in his house and they were so happy. He said, here's a profit. We come back next week. We want to get the same treatment. We're giving you an advance for the money for next week. So money started flying into this guy, flying in. They started coming every week. And they said, why do we have to come every week? We can use you as our representative. You sell our merchandise here. We don't have to come. So they came once a month. They brought in merchandise and he was selling the furs and everything. And he started to become rich and rich and rich. And the years passed. And then Rabbeinu lived in Breslov. and his house, the window faced the marketplace. So when he was in the marketplace that day, and Chaiko happened to be in the house of Rabbi Nachman at that time, so Rabbeinu told his Chaiko, come to the window. He went to the window, and he saw his cousin running around like a stock exchange, a wealthy guy dressed nicely, buying and selling in the market. So Rabbeinu knocked on his window, because you can hear the window knock from the marketplace. He knocked, everybody turned around. Rabbeinu was looking at the cousin. He said, me? He said, yeah. So Rabbeinu, the cousin came to the window. He said, yes, Rabbeinu, Kvod Harav, how can I? He said, how you doing? How you doing, Baruch Hashem? How the family, Baruch Hashem? Tell me, did you look at the sky today? Rabbeinu told him, did you see the sky? No, but why do I have to look at the sky? So he said, listen, in 50 years from now, there'll be other horses here, other merchandise, other people. Me and you won't be here. So I ask you, why don't you have time to look up to Hashem in the sky and think about your taflis? And then Rabbeinu looked at Rav Chaikel and he said, you see, this is what your bracha did. You brought in the bracha, but he wasn't able to use it properly. Okay. This is the idea again here. Brachot come down. Rav brachot, the trick is to be ish emunot. Ish emunot is the emunah that I'm doing, that I'm emunah in Hashem, that I'm here to receive birkat hasechel, not just the physical bracha. As opposed to Esav, Atzla Hashem was quick to make money, to run things. Lo yinakeh, he doesn't get it clean. He doesn't need clean. That's the first proof. Now, what we did last week, we didn't finish. Vayi ubechinat, vayi adav emunah. Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were emunah. What in the world is going on here in this world, in this war? They're fighting Amalek. Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were emunah. Onkelos translates vayi adav emunah, prisan bitzlo. Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were spread out in prayer, okay? And then the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, what it says afterwards, and when Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were raised, the Gaval Yisrael, the Jews won the war. They were winning. And when Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were descended, Amalek won. So what did Aaron and Hur do? Like we said, they lifted up his arms so they shouldn't fall. They should stay up, okay? And in the end, they won the war. The Jews won the war. But what is he saying here? Vayhi Yadav Emunah, okay? It's written in the Chumash with one Yud. Yud, Dalet, Vav. Let's see how they write it here. I just want to see if they brought down the Ketiv. Yad Emunah. Okay. Ayas. Yadav. No, it's written over fully. You have to see the Chumash. I think it's with Yado. Yadav Emunah. I think the Zohar says that it's with Yado, one hand. Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were raised, but to join, to make as if one hand, joining the two. So it's only chesed, no chesed in Gvura, but just one hand. We're connecting all, his fingers were open to channel all the 10 sfirot, the 10 levels of energy. Okay, we said this last week. The idea we want to add this week is Yadav Emunah, spread out in prayer. The Yadayim of Moshe Rabbeinu, the Gemara says, just to go back to the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, was it Moshe Rabbeinu's hands that were doing the war? No, where? Is it the hands of Moshe Rabbeinu that because their hands were up and down that the war was being won? Rather, the Jews were looking at the hands of Moshe Rabbeinu. When they saw Moshe Rabbeinu's hands raised in prayer, so the Jews also would start davening because of the prayer of this tzaddik, and that their davening and their hearts going after Hashem would help them win the war, okay? So the few things here. Number one, from here you see why you need a tzaddik. Yisrael davening is not enough? No, it's not enough. They need a tzaddik davening for them. You need a tzaddik. Why do you need a tzaddik? Because when you have a tzaddik davening for you, that gives you the energy to daven also. Rabbeinu said, I can't do all the work. You can't now say, okay, I have a tzaddik, I'll be bad and do all types of things, and I have a tzaddik to go upon. No. You have to also daven. You also have to put on tefillin. You're also a Jew. You're not saying, I have a tzaddik, he takes care of me. That's like a Christian idea. They're going to have that idea. I can do whatever I want. I confess, and Mr. J. Yemach Shemo, he told Shalom my sins. That's a Goyish idea. The Jewish idea is that tzaddik yes davens for you, but the tzaddik's goal is to enhance your heart with your shamayim and tshuva. Like Rabbi Nosson says about the Nerot Chanukah. Nerot Chanukah, we say in Nerot Alalu, we say, Nerot Alalu Kodesh, ve'en lanu reshut ishtamesh bahem, ela lerotam bivat. So Rabbi Nosson says the menorah is the light of the tzaddikim. By the way, menorah is the letters Moharan, by the way. Moharan, okay. The tzaddikim are the light of Chanukah. Okay, and what do we say about them? Someone who uses tzaddikim for just gashmiut they miss the point. They go to Kippur, the tzaddikim, and the matzah, the paros says a shver matzah, and the nish came there, and the persons are saying, I have parnasa difficulties, I have no children, gashmiut problems. That's not what tzaddikim are for. When a Jew has gashmiut problems, it's because Hashem is trying to tell him something. Right? Hashem is trying to tell you something, which is causing that there's a gashmiut problem, a parnasa problem, no children problem, health issues. Hashem is trying to tell you something, man. Hashem is trying to tell you something, man. That's what the tzaddik, his goal is to help people for ruchniut. The people, you see that the Hanukkah candle shines whether the person uses it for gashmiut or ruchniut, the Hanukkah candles are shining. When does a person have an avera? If he uses Hanukkah candles for reading a book, for checking his wallet, checking his money, then is a problem. But the light of the tzaddik, the light of the Hanukkah is always shining. In other words, when people come to tzaddik to daven for gashmiut, the tzaddik has an obligation to daven for them. The problem is who? The people, the recipient. The person daven asking for the tzaddik to daven for gashmiut, it's a problem. Okay? So here, Vahi Yadav Emunah, Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were spread in prayer. Emunah is tefillah. Okay? And this caused the Jewish people to look at Moshe Rabbeinu's hands, his davening, help them to daven. That the whole war of Amalek was dependent upon tefillah, not sechel. So this is the idea. They were fighting Amalek. Okay? Moshe Rabbeinu's hands is sechel. Okay? But he says this, the hands of sechel were of emunah. Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to protect the sechel that he was giving to Am Yisrael, because Moshe Rabbeinu was also the teacher. His hands means the intellect, the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu is giving to Am Yisrael, they were of emunah. Why? To protect from the false emunah. What's the false emunah? Amalek. What false emunah of Amalek is there in battle? Amalek mentality is what tells a person, you're weak, you can't fight, you're not going to make it in life. You're in the battle, the daily battle against Amalek. So Amalek, he tries to make you believe through arguments, through sechel, he tries to make you believe that you're finished, that you're a nobody, you're not going to make it. You can't fight this battle. It's too big for you. That's Amalek mentality, using false emunah to attack your sechel. Moshe Rabbeinu is there to protect us from that. Moshe Rabbeinu is the idea of the tzaddikim, whose hands are emunah. They reveal Torah, the tzaddikim, but it's with emunah. You hear that? If you come to Breslov thinking, I want an intellectual class on Rabbi Nachman's teaching, you missed the point. You missed the point. That's not Breslov. No, I have a kiyas in the Breslov farm. How about the davening part? What does it do to you? You learn Likutey Moharan, but you go back to your life, you don't do anything with what you learn, you miss the point. It's Vahi Yadav, Yadayim, as we said, is the Sechel, Emunah. That you take what you're learning, you put in Emunah. You put Emunah in it. If you don't do that, so Moshe Rabbeinu was doing two things. Yadav, his hands, is the intellect to counter the Amalek mentality. Amalek tells the Jew, you're finished, you're not going to make it, you're weak. So the mentality of the tzaddik, you can make it, you're strong, you keep on going, use the eitzah that I revealed to you, use the eitzah of finding the good points, the eitzah of thanking Hashem, use the eitzah, okay? But then emunah is you have to daven about it, because emunah, Targum translates emunah, brisan, bitzlo. His Moshe Rabbeinu's hands were spread out in prayer, brisan, bitzlo. That's how it's translated. Meaning what? Even the tzaddik says you still have to daven. As much as I revealed to you eitzah, if you think it's only eitzah and not davening, you're finished. It says that the tzaddikim reveal eitzot, but even the eitzah itself is difficult to fulfill. Okay, you have a tzaddik, he comes about, he gives all types of eitzah on how to serve Hashem. I have this difficulty, so tzaddik reveals another eitzah. But the eitzah itself, Rav Nosson says many times, is difficult to fulfill. So what to do? You need to do one eitzah, which is the eitzah for all the other eitzah. There's one advice, one key, that's the key for all the other keys. And that's what? Idbodedut. Daven. You got to do Idbodedut to activate the eitzah. You can do the eitzah, you can be intellectual, Breslov and intellectual, but if you don't daven about it, it's not going to move. It's not going to move. You know what to do, okay. But to do it, the bridge between knowing what to do and doing it is your prayer, emunah. If you don't have that, you're finished. So that's what he's saying here. Vayadav emunah, his hands were spread in prayer. Finish? We have to finish that. We're done. Okay. So this is the point that's coming out on the second proof. Vayadav emunah, his hands were spread out. So on the pshat, Rabbeinu is connecting emunah of hands But at a deeper level, what's going on here? This is the Milchemet Amalek, who attacks a person when he's fighting Amalek. When you're in the middle of the challenge of the war, you need Emunah and the Adayim. You have the Sechel, and I need Emunah, right? Devil coming up, but we saw it already. We saw this, it's coming up, I think it was chapter 5 or 4. Someone whose knowledge of Torah is greater than his actions, his ma'asim. What's he compared to? A tree that has a lot of branches, but a very thin trunk. Do you remember the Pirkei Avot? A small wind comes and knocks down the whole tree because the trunk is not. Trunk is ma'asim. Ma'asim, the main ma'aseh, believe it or not, is emunah, is prayer. When it's tshuva ma'asim tovim, is mitzvot. A ma'aseh tov, believe it or not, is davening. So someone whose davening is less than his learning, it's a problem. You have to make it that your davening in your day is at least equivalent to what you're learning. You're learning 8 hours a day, you should be having in davening, including shachris, mincha, mareh, birkat hamazon, whatever you're doing, it should be equal at least to the amount that you're learning all day. You can't say, I learn all day, and you're not davening. Whoa, you're finished. Rabbi Nachman says, lesson 31, someone who's just learning Torah and not davening about it, it's not worth it. It's like, it says it's not no value at all. That's chokhmah avad emunah. That's dangerous. Dangerous. Okay, so vayadad emunah. Second proof, we're finishing it off now, that you have to have emunah in this battle against Amalek. Okay, Amalek is the one who's against all these things, and automatically Amalek is the one also who's representing sadness. Okay, itzavon, sadness and depression. Who was Amalek after? Those who were kicked out of Canaan. Remember the Parshat Beshalach, that from Machane Dan, from the tribe of Dan, there were Jews who were exiled, expelled from the cloud, and they were exposed to Amalek. Amalek killed them and cut off their brit milahs and threw them up, right? When is a Jew ayef in serving Hashem? When he's sad, when he's not happy. So who causes that also? Amalek is the cause. When did that last? Finally, now let's get to this pasuk. I want to get to this. Okay, ubechinat. This concept of emunah in sechel is also hidden in this verse. What is this pasuk? This pasuk is from the last chapter of Shmuel Aleph, Samuel 1, chapter 24. Okay. V'kama bi'adecha mamlechet Yisrael. What is going on here? What is this? Shaul HaMelech is telling David HaMelech, I see now that it will be established, v'kama, and it will be established in your hands, the kingship of Israel. What is going on here? What is the story? So we have to just quickly recap a piece of the story. If you remember, Shmuel Hanavi, his yahrzeit is coming up. It's on Friday and some say on Shabbat. Hopefully this week we'll go on Thursday to Kevra. Hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem. There'll be a big Hilula this week by Shmuel Hanavi. Shmuel Hanavi commanded Shaul, Melech, it's your opportunity from Shemaim now. They said, this is a golden opportunity to wipe out totally Amalek. You've been gifted with the mitzvah to destroy totally Amalek. The animals, the men, the women, the children, the elderly, kill everyone. Why kill everyone? Because Amalekites back then until today are shape changers. They had sorcery, they can change themselves. So they want to escape, they can change themselves. If it's a beautiful young woman, Amalekite, she can make herself to an old man or to a cow, which is what happened. Aman is descended from these Amalekites who are shape changers, okay? Today, Rav Nosson explains in our terms, it's so far-fetched. It could be that someone is an Amalek and is a shape changer. But when we say Amalek changes his shape, it means what Amalek does to a person. Amalek is gematria, safek, doubt. That he's able to fool you. He's able to convince you to do stupid things in life, to do the wrong things. And like Rabbi Nachman says in lesson number 1, he comes Yetzirah, which is Amalek. He comes dressed in a big shtabal and the big bears, and he comes in a mitzvah to convince you to do what you think is a mitzvah. In the end, he gets you. That's how he breaks you. Do it, go ahead, go. Stay up all night for 2 nights and go just, daven and learn, and then he crashes you, the person. I thought I was doing a mitzvah. Yeah, he lost out because it's Amalek. He's a shape changer. Okay, so now going back, Shmuel Hanavi told Shaul HaMelech, you have a mitzvah now to kill everybody. So they were located, Amalek were living, in the area of Yericho or wherever, and or there's an area they were living, and the Keni, the descendants of Yitro, were living there. And Shaul sent messengers to the Kenim, since you are our brothers, you converted and everything, get out of there because we're not going to kill everybody. So Keni came out, and then Shaul Amalek and his army attacked and killed all the Amalekites, all the men, women, children. They left alive two groups. They left alive just Agag, the king of the Amalekites, because he was very, very old. And number two, they left alive nice, fat, good-looking cows. Why did they do that? Why did they leave Melech Agag alive? Because they figured he's an old king. What's he going to do? Look at him. He was like in his 90 years old. I forgot what the Midrash says. He was very old. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? He's so old. What did they have in mind? Look at these beautiful korbanot we can use for the Mishkan and Shiloh, whatever they had at the time. Look at these beautiful fat cows. What was the real truth? These fat cows were Amalekite women who transformed themselves with kishuf into these cows. And then they had Rahmanut. Okay, so the Jewish people convinced Shaul HaMelech, it's not a waste. Look at these nice cows. We use them for the korbanot. And Shaul HaMelech, you have a command from Shmuel HaNavi, from Hashem. What overrode it? What overread? Hashem tells you to do something. Shmuel HaNavi is your teacher. He's your prophet. He tells you to do something. You don't listen. What's in your head? What was the fault of Shaul HaMelech? That he had what was called anava psula, false humility. And what does that mean? You have people in the world, let others control them. You have people in the world who lack a type of self-confidence. They're good people, but they lack a type of self-confidence. They let other people rule over them, run their lives, and tell them what to do. Okay? It's a sickness from Amalek, believe it or not. That's what it's hidden here. Okay? Shaul HaMelech was a big tzaddik. He was taller than other people. And also, they say that his stature, Hashem told one David HaMelech, if you were Shaul HaMelech and he was David HaMelech, how many Shauls I would kill before this David? In other words, so don't think you're better than him. Does it say that? It's a Gemara, if you remember, okay? Idea was Shaul HaMelech was a big tzaddik, but he was too much of a tzaddik. On him, the verse of the pasuk in Mishlei that says, don't do too much bad, but don't do too much good. What does it mean, don't do too much good? Don't try to be such a good person and you're too good. That you let other people also, you have, okay, they say like this, I'm okay with it, I'll go with it. Because I want to be peaceful. This is the very difficult stage of fighting Amalek. When you know something is wrong and something is right, so you stand up for it. Most people have a hard time for this. I'm embarrassed. I'm going out of my comfort zone, out of my cage to do this, to make this statement. It's not someone now who knows this is right and this is wrong. So this is wrong. It has to be done. Even if it's painful to do it, even though I have to now go out and be to do it, but this is the right thing to do. Now, Shaul HaMelech was expected in this test to tell Jewish people, no, he was a softy. He was too much of a softy. He was a tzaddik. He was such a tzaddik. He was a softy, Shaul HaMelech. Even though he was a warrior, he was a king, but he was a softy. Okay? He was supposed to tell them no. And the Jews say, but look, there's such nice cows. Look, we never seen such beautiful cows. It's like one chance in a lifetime, a once in a life opportunity to have such nice cows for the Mishkan, offer to Hashem. He should have said no. They convinced him. They aided his morale until he gave in. Okay? So then, Shmuel HaNavi, Hashem told him, go to Shaul. He didn't listen. And I'm warning you now to tell him that I'm going to take away the melucha from him. He's going to be no longer king. Okay? So Shmuel HaNavi was very sad about it. He cried to Hashem the whole night. It didn't help. He cried to Hashem about it because I was so broken. Because it was his student. He was the one who anointed him. He saw in him the good points. He knew the greatness of Shaul HaMelech. And he was so broken, but he didn't pass the tests. So he was crying. They say, so at least Shaul HaMelech, in his passing, that they should be together in heaven. At least Shmuel HaNavi and Shaul HaMelech. And when he dies and leaves this world, Shaul HaMelech, they should be together with Shmuel HaNavi. So Shmuel HaNavi comes, and Shaul greets Shmuel HaNavi. And he said, my Adoni, my prophet, we listened to what you said. We killed all the Amalekites and everything they had. So what did Shmuel say? What is the sound of those cows that I hear? He said, we left these few And we left Agag also the king. So Shmuel Nabi said, come, I'll talk to you privately. He says, you may be opening up to other people and listening, but you're the king. You're the king of the Jewish people. You can't let other people tell you what to do. And you failed the test. This was the test of Amalek. Amalek is a shape changer. Amalek comes to make you feel guilty. This is very, very subtle proof of Amalek as the antithesis of Emunah in Sechel. Here he comes. You won the war already. You won a battle. Shaul Amalek won. He could have killed everything. But Amalek comes, let this corner, okay, it's not so bad. You have to kill all of them. That's Amalek mentality where he tries to, like, another piece of cake, it's okay. You're not going to die from another piece of cake. It's okay. It's just a little bit. It's just, right? What happens with a little bit after he's more and more, and you eat the whole cake afterwards, right? That's Amalek attacking. That is Amalek attacking, the mentality. That he tries to come shape changing. Okay? So Shmuel Nabi told Shaul, I've been informed, I've come to inform you from Hashem that the Malucha will be taken away from you. And he said, don't do this to me. He says, and then it's finished, okay? And Hashem will give it to someone who's better than you, David Amalek, okay? So when he turned, Shaul Melech, he said, no, don't leave me. And he grabbed his corner, some say it's the tzitzit, the corner of Shmuel Nabi's jacket, and it tore. So Shmuel Nabi turned, he says, this is a sign from Shammai. Just like you tore by accident my corner, the knaf, the tzitzit from my beged, so too the melucha, the kingship, will be torn from you. And then Shmuel Nabi revealed to Shaul, he who tears off your corner, your tzitzit, your knaf, he will become king. Okay? And then after the story is the downhill life of Shaul Amalek, where he begins to see that David Melech is the chosen one, and he succeeds in fighting Goliath and all the success. And then he has this jealousy. This is scary. Jealousy between tzaddikim. Shaul Melech is a tzaddik. David Melech is a tzaddik. And he wants to kill him. He wants to kill him. Rav Nosson says this blemish is what takes place in every generation. That there's one true tzaddik, and there's one who's not, or there's many who are not. And the tzaddikim who are false are out there to prevent people from coming close to this tzaddik. So in the case of Shaul Melech and David Melech, okay, Shaul is a tzaddik, and he's on the pursuit to kill David Melech. And when he's doing that, he has people with him. It's not Shaul Melech alone. He has all of his, what's his name? Doeg Adomi, Achitophel. He has all of his advisors, all these big people, and all of his soldiers, and Am Yisrael, and David Melech has a few small people with him, and they're fleeing, trying to escape. They're being pursued. Okay. So this is something we're going to this a little bit. So I want to go finish the story point. We get to the end that while looking for David Melech, Shaul Melech slept overnight in a cave with his soldiers, and while we're trying to pursue David Melech, and David Melech snuck into that cave and cut off Shaul Melech's corner without anybody noticing. They're all sleeping. And then when he was far out of the cave on the other side of the mountain, he called out, waking up Shaul Melech. He said to him, look, I have in my hand the corner of your garment. Which means what? That means that I had access to you. I could have killed you if I wanted to. And I didn't kill you. So why are you after me? You see, I don't hate you. You claim that I want to kill you. That was the claim of David Shaul Melech, that he's after me. You see, I could have harmed you and I didn't. So I ask you the same. So at that point, Shaul Melech gave up. He broke and he admitted the truth. And he said first, is that your voice that I hear? What does that mean, your voice? You didn't hear. David Melech used to work for Shaul Melech. He was in the palace. You never heard his voice? His voice changed. At that point, there was a voice of Melucha, Kol Melucha, and the voice of David Melech. And Shaul Melech picked up from his voice that he has a voice of royalty, and that this is the sign that he's the king. So he said after that, I see now with your voice and what you did. You cut off my knaf, my tzitzit. And Shmuel Nabi told me earlier when I fought Agag and I didn't kill Agag and I didn't kill the cows, whoever's going to cut off your corner, your tzitzit, your corner of your beged, he's going to become the king. So now I see clearly V'kama beyadecha mamlechet Yisrael. I see now that it will be established in your hands the mamlechet Yisrael, the melucha of Yisrael. So now Pshat, what's Rabbeinu's proof here? What is Rabbeinu showing? What does Melucha of Yisrael have to do with their hands? So Mamlechet Yisrael is Malchut. Okay? Mamlechet Yisrael is also going on Yisrael Saba, Yaakov Avinu, who's the root of this Emunah. If you want to say, Psukim from Yaakov, Sikelet Yadav, we saw Midei Avir Yaakov, Misham, Ro'eh. Ro'eh is Emunah. Shon Eretz, Rabbeinu says this proof in lesson 7. Ro'eh is Emunah. Shon Eretz, Ro'eh Emunah. Dwell in the land and fodder off of faith, okay? So, Ro'eh Even Yisrael. So, Yisrael is like Yaakov Avinu. Mamlechet, we said coming up, he's going to prove. If you look at the end of this section, he says, V'zeh b'chinat malchut ditzira, na'asa mimena chokhmah bina dad asiyah. In Kabbalistic terminology, what does it mean that you put emunah in sechel? It means that emunah from a higher level, emunah, malchut from the world of Yetzirah, Rabbeinu calls emunah, na'asa mimen is made out of it, chokhmah bina dad of asiyah. Asiyah is the lower world we said, remember? The 4 worlds. Again, let's show the maps all over again. The maps. Okay, maps here, the maps. There's the worlds. Appendixes, worlds. Okay. Here, worlds here, just see the map here. Okay, world. Adam Kadmon is way above. Atzilut B'Yar Yitzhak Asiyah. A world of action is the lowest world. Formation, creation, and then what's this? Nearness, Atzilut. Okay, so we're talking, this whole lesson is in the world of action. Doing the mitzvah, doing action. Doing mitzvah b'simcha brings you up to, now you're ready to go up to the next world, Yetzirah. But before you go up, what happens is the last level of Yetzirah, which is Malchut, goes down. It goes down into this. In order for you to go up, Malchut of the higher world goes down to you. What's the Malchut of the higher world? Everybody says that's Emunah. Emunah is always at a level above you. When we say someone has Emunah, what does it mean? I believe there's something beyond me, above me, I believe in it. You know, what is Emunah? That I believe in Hashem. What does it mean, believe in Hashem? I believe there's a force governing my life, which is way above my grasp. And it's way above me. To believe something at your level, you don't need Emunah. Do I need Emunah for this statement? No, I feel it. I need Emunah for something which is beyond. The word beyond means up, upwards. So Malchut of Yetzirah is the Malchut of the higher world. There's Malchut in the low Sirah. Each world has this. So the world of Yetzirah, the third world, has all this, and the world of Asiyah also has all this. Keter of the lower world, Asiyah, is Malchut of the next world up. You see, these are connected. This is connected. It's like the Lego for the kids. You put this block on here. So the Malchut of the upper world here is really Keter of the lower world. Okay? So he's saying we didn't go into Keter yet at all. But Malchut of the higher world is what creates the Emunah. Malchut in Chokhmah bin Adad means I draw Emunah from a higher world into the lower world in order to prepare me for the next level up, okay? So going back, so Mamlechet Yisrael, this is the Malchut of Emunah for Israel, okay? Just to finish up, because we have to continue next week. We have to continue this plus there's much more to go into. Just one quick last amazing thing. Vekama. What does the knaf have to do with Amalek? What does the knaf have to do with Melucha? Okay. Knaf is Gematria. 20 plus 50, 70 plus 80. So it's 100 and 150. Okay, knaf is 150. Now, Kama is Gematria. 145. That's above Vekama. 151. So knaf imakolet. So what is knaf? I have to go to the next week. It's too much. There's too much on this. Next week, we'll go into that the end of knaf. What's connected to Amalek? What's connected to Kama? What's Kama, by the way? Kama is a holy name. We'll go into this, okay? We'll stop here for now. But what comes out of this today? Emunah. Emunah is davening with Sechel. That's the key to understand. The key to protect the intellect from Amalek mentality, whether it's Esav in making money, in other words, whether it's when you're fighting Amalek and you have negative thinking, you're gonna not make it, and this and that, that's Amalek attacking. Whether now it's when you have an opportunity to do away with evil, but you listen to the Yetzirah, which is listening to Amalek, some Rahmanus, the wrong type of Rahmanus, which is Shalom Alas Pgam. So now he loses the Melucha, and David is the exact opposite of it. David knew what to do. When there's something to do that's right, you have to kill somebody, kill somebody. It's just on Hashem, No personal feeling. Oh, but it's inhumane and this. No, David Amalek mentality is against Amalek. Amalek is humane. It's humane. We're vegetarian because we don't eat meat because we're so sad that. And the korbanot, no korbanot. It's inhumane korbanot. No, we're not part of the Beit Hamikdash. No. You can't eat fish. No fish because you can't take them apart. You kill them. Inhumane. What's with Shabbos? It's a mitzvah to eat fish, meat, flesh. We shech. Yeah, but you can't check that. That's Amalek Rachmanut. That's Shaul Amalek's come. David Amalek, if it's a mitzvah to do something and it's right, even it's achzari. I remember once I got my tefillin checked in Toronto a long time ago. It's the first time I ever got my tefillin checked after my bar mitzvah. Okay, so I saw how the Rav was opening my tefillin. You know, when you're a young guy, tefillin the nice, polished, black and clean. And then when he opened the tefillin, he had to cut them, and he took like a Japanese knife, the cutting knife, and he took then the shkita knife because he wasn't opening, and he was forcing it, and it ruined the whole. So he said, "Well, look, careful my tefillin." He says, "There's no rachmanuti. We have to open the box to check the parashut. So you can't do it delicate." I said, "Maybe you can do it nicely, because I was new to this. I was a newbie to opening tefillin." He says, "No, when you have to check the tefillin, even if all the black ink comes off and everything, and it's all ugly now because you opened the box. That for the will of Hashem, you have to do something that's done." I remember that. Open the knife. I'll go by next. We continued next week. Thank you for joining.